If you're like me, then you really gravitate to the bad guy, the ultimate antagonist, the sleuth of sinister, and the downright dirty player of the game. Now, Neal McDonough has made a career out of being a character actor who plays morally questionable and antagonistic characters. With over 100 entries to his IMDb, he's played on and with some of the most highly recognisable movies and TV shows. From horror TV shows like Van Helsing to science fiction movies like Star Trek First Contact, Neal McDonough at this point has done it all. Hi everyone, it's Anthony here from My Kinda Weird, and we are gonna get deep, down and dirty with the top 10 movies and TV shows starring the ultimate bad guy, the ultimate morally questionable character of Neal McDonough. And look, while it was hard to narrow down Neal's iconic career to only 10 movies and TV shows, I decided to go for a bit of a mix of my favourites for the most iconic parts he's played. So strap in and let's get stuck into this top 10 list of Neal McDonough. Coming in at number 10 is the Incredible Hulk cartoon, which is probably a big fan favourite at this point. Now, Neal McDonough has played a huge variety of characters, so much that it's left many fans scratching their heads and asking, why hasn't he appeared in the Marvel Universe? Well, he has, several times in fact. Neal McDonough's first Marvel appearance was the voice of the Incredible Hulk's alter ego, Dr. Bruce Banner, in the Incredible Hulk cartoon, which ran from 1996 to 1997 and included a short run of only 21 episodes before it was unceremoniously cancelled. A role which saw him star alongside Lou Ferrigno, who reprised his role as the Hulk by lending his voice talents to Bruce Banner's alter ego, which is also the Incredible Hulk's alter ego. Okay, you get the idea. Coming at number 9 is Star Trek First Contact. Now, if you're not a Star Trek fan, then chances are you're going to be like, who the hell is Lieutenant Hawk? Better still, if you're a Trekkie, you're probably still going to be going, who the hell is Lieutenant Hawk? Well, think back to the movie Star Trek First Contact, and then cast your memory to a young, upstart lieutenant who sits next to Data on the bridge. Still can't think of him? Okay, well, how about the Starfleet officer who gets turned into a Borg? That's Swedish for cyborg space zombies, in case you're wondering, and tries to take out Captain Picard on the underside of the Enterprise. Yeah, that guy. Well, that was Neal McDonough. Coming in at number 8 is Band of Brothers. Now, Buck was a character in the Band of Brothers wartime TV miniseries played by Neal McDonough, and despite being a soldier, Lynn D. Buck Compton was also an American jurist, police officer, and Californian appeals judge who gained a certain level of notoriety for his role as prosecutor in Sirhan's trial for the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. McDonough's ability to play complex characters is certainly capitalized on in his portrayal of Buck in the Band of Brothers TV series, TV miniseries, which came out all the way back in 2001. Coming in at number 7 is Walking Tall. Loosely based on a true story, Walking Tall is about former US Special Forces Sergeant Chris Vaughn, who, upon returning to his hometown, soon realises that his old high school nemesis Jay Hamilton, played by McDonough, is responsible for all of the crime and corruption, sending the town on a downward spiral. What follows is a movie-length siege of good guy versus bad guy, and introduces the world to just how bad a villain Neal McDonough can be. Coming in at number 6 is Desperate Housewives. Yes, Desperate Housewives. Now, you think Desperate Housewives and you think to yourself, how is an actor known for making a career out of playing antagonists ending up on this show? Well, believe it or not, he's a major antagonist who is first introduced in season 5 as Eddie's third and last husband. He arrives on Wisteria Lane with one plan in action: to avenge his former deceased family, and the housewives aren't going to be the same after Neil McDonough's Dave Williams is through with them. Coming in at number 5 is back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for Captain America: The First Avenger. While he is probably only on screen in Captain America: First Avenger for all of 20 minutes, and that's being generous, Neal McDonough portrays a highly convincing Timothy Dum Dum Dugan and member of the famous World War II squad of Howling Commandos. He fought alongside Captain America and Bucky Barnes on many missions, and when Captain America was thought to have died, he took over the command of the Howling Commandos. Besides all that, he's one crazy son of a bitch who will take on any mission that's thrown at him. Coming in at number 4 is Arrow. Based on a comic book villain, Damian Darhk was once a member of the League of Assassins. In the Arrow TV show, Damian Darhk was the best friend of the late Ra's al Ghul, and even held the title of Heir of the Demon before he betrayed Ra's. After escaping the League of Assassins and stealing some of the water from the Lazarus Pit, Damian Darhk formed his own version of the League called Hive, a group which was so deadly that they once laid siege on Star City, and he was shortly killed after these events by Oliver Queen for killing the love of his life, Sarah Lance. Neil McDonough's portrayal of Damian Darhk is easily one of the most memorable bad guys from CW's Arrowverse slate of shows, so that's why he deserved a mention. Coming in at number 3 is Suits. Now, Neal McDonough also ended up on the famous lawyer TV show known as Suits, where he portrayed Sean Cahill, who was initially an antagonist and is a prosecutor for the US Securities and Exchange Commission, who targets Pearson Spector at the suggestion of his friend and mentor Eric Woodall. However, he soon finds out that Woodall is the corrupt one and swaps sides. From then on, he becomes a recurring ally of main characters Harvey Specter and Mike Ross, so definitely an antagonizing antagonist. Coming in at number 2, and we're on the home stretch now with The 100. Now, Neal McDonough plays Anders, a morally questionable cult leader character on the 7th and final season of The 100, who was also known as the First Disciple, who was the second in command to the Second Dawn leader, the Shepherd. Are you still with me? Now, a truly horrible human being who is eventually revealed to be the reason why the Earth is now an apocalyptic wasteland. And Anders was also one of the embryos, a human who was born from one of 1,000 embryos stolen from the Second Dawn cult prior to their escape from Earth during the worldwide nuclear holocaust, as depicted and referenced to again and again and again and again and again throughout the 100 series. And this leads us to the very first and number 1 entry of Van Helsing. Now, Neil McDonough portrays human vampire Hansen, also known as Willem, throughout the Van Helsing TV show. Hansen was the apprentice of Jacob Van Helsing prior to turning him into a vampire, who had an interest and curiosity in genetic engineering. And so throughout history would work for factions of power, which gave him the flexibility he needed to experiment on live human beings. And yeah, unfortunately, this even included working for the Nazis in World War II. So, yeah, there's that. Eventually, though, it comes out that Hansen's reason for experimenting on humans is to create a human-vampire hybrid strong enough to slay Dracula. Like most vampire characters, Hansen has superhuman strength, but he also has the ability to shapeshift, making him a very interesting addition to vampire lore and the cast in Van Helsing. And because he's a vampire who experiments on human subjects and worked for the Nazis at one point, this is why he deserved my number one. So what do you guys think about this list? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Who would you have put on this list? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, my name's Anthony from My Kinda Weird, and you'll hear me and maybe see me in the next episode.